taken away from Giants and Kennen being taken away from against All Authority. And I wouldn't be surprised really to see maybe the Jarvan and Rumble kind of looked at, because that was such a key champions for Giants to beat beat Evil Geniuses.
Well, it's, you know, Thresh being banned out, Kennen being taken away as well as Renekton and Kha'Zix. And Kha'Zix, well, we've seen some pretty amazing plays from Kha'Zix lately, but we've also seen some pretty average ones as well. So it's interesting to see that they've taken that away from Extermin, because I don't ever remember Extermin or Samux having a go on the Kha'Zix.
That is really is interesting, because maybe they just don't want it picked, you know, flat out. They weren't really planning on playing it. They don't want anyone to kind of catch them off guard the Giant side. But the Shen and Elise coming in, we still have the Rumble available. We have the Jarvan available. And those, like we were just saying, those are the key champions they needed for Evil Geniuses. Will they run that again? I guess we're going to find out as time does go on.
So Shen and Elise, which leaves a number of things open. And Jarvan being one of them, of course. Volibear in there as well as Nasus. Kind of the familiar junglers we've seen a lot lately. And it does look like Diana, though, is going to be picked up for Slayer, of course. We have had Extermin playing Diana quite a few times lately.
Quite a bit indeed. And I'm looking at this right now, Demon. I think if we see Rumble locked in for Giants, I think we're going to see Dewood on Janna again. Okay. I think that's always a good potential. You know, that shield will help anyone inside this away that Janna the first time he actually made his debut.
So since I didn't get to see that debut, how did he build Janna? Did he go the same way that Patoy's been building it in Elements, which is pretty heavy AP actually? They've got Morella Nomicon in there.
No. It was just a standard support build, just trying to help his team out. But you know, I was actually kind of caught off guard by Patoy doing that in Elements, but it's really effective. Like the cooldown reduction you get, the healing reduction, which is really key when AD carriers are building so much lifesteal these days. We could always see them actually kind of use that. But you know, against Authority, they do lock in the Diana, and they have another champion to go here in Virtual. They could always go for their jungler, but they do take Zyra, which is a very smart job by them, because we know Babetta can play Zyra. We saw previously just how phenomenal every single one of his ultimates were. And then Extra also can play Zyra in the mid lane.
Yeah, trying to actually go for the disruption possibly here for against the Giants. A very close record actually between these teams. They're obviously always played each other a number of times. Both came through from the LCS qualifiers that were live qualifiers in Warsaw, of course. So they know each other very well. Let's see what Giants are going to go with here. What were you expecting? You're expecting the AD carrying supports here?
Well, it's a tough call, because they're going to give away what they're actually going to be going for. I mean, they already showed the Jarvan, so that kind of shows you what they're going to go for, trying to lock you down kind of composition. They could always go for their support here, or maybe even a Ryze. I mean, we haven't seen Extra play him that much, but Ryze does fairly well against Diana. You build naturally tanky, you're going to be able to lock someone down so she can't assassinate anyone in your back line, but that's what we'll find out.
Corellius isn't here, but Giants are looking like they're going to take Sona away nevertheless. And Ashe also being picked up. So last second switch to Varus. That does make more sense to me. Yeah, well, Ashe is one of the champions like Ashe Misfortune that Jim Bones likes to play when he doesn't have that cannon available. But Varus, I mean, I have to say, he kind of came out of nowhere in LCS. I mean, we knew he was played in Korea quite a bit. We knew Yellow Pete was working on it back in Season 2 and early Season 3, but it just seems like everyone realized, wow, he's very strong. He's really strong in the lane phase, and also with the current meta, everyone's stacking health, everyone's stacking armor. That percent health damage you're going to do is really effective. So, on towards against All Authority. Decisions have to be made here. They've had a number of bans against them, namely Renekton and Thresh, two big champions that against All Authorities like to rely on. Freddy122, of course, on that Renekton.
I think we're going to see Ezreal come out of no-no again. It's a very safe champion right now.
It's something he always plays.
Yeah.
So it would not be a shock, I think it's safe to say.
I know I'm not really stretching out there for that prediction right there, but still, it's a very safe champion. It gets you out of the Jarvan, it gets you out of the Sona if you are timed it correctly. And as I say that, it goes for Vayne instead. So
just to completely throw us out and catch out any predictions. Nasus, of course, is going to get picked up. Does that mean we're going to see anything different from the Giants? We do see a Draven or Aurelia being hovered over, but Vayne being picked up there. Vayne against Varus.
It's okay. Varus is going to have the advantage in the laning phase quite a bit, but as Vayne approaches level 6, he should be able to take him head to head. It all just comes down to if Nono can dodge the crescendo and dodge the ultimate of Varus, he will be able to take him in a 1v1 any day. But I wouldn't really expect them to go in a 2v2 situation. If you're going to use Vayne, you want to make sure he has an easy laning phase, make sure he is able to farm up enough for the late game where he's really effective. So I would assume we would see a lane switch out of him.
So Aurelia and Twisted Fate looking like they may well get locked in here by the Giants. Of course, Twisted Fate is a champion we saw Extermin playing against Evil Geniuses. Didn't use that ultimate too heavily, in fact. Didn't really get too involved, but could we see an Olaf? It would be ages since we saw Olaf. Week 1 absolutely dominated by Olaf, but that patch change that came in towards the Giants belt took him away, but it does look like that's what Samux wants to go towards.
I believe the last time we saw Olaf picked was actually Kevin out of SK, I think 2 weeks ago. And he did a great job. I mean, he played him back in week 1, like you're saying, and he just destroyed enemy teams. But, you know, with that pick, so he cannot be interrupted by anyone in the other team. So anyone that you're going to use, like the Wither is now useless, the Moonfall out of Diana is now useless, the Grasping Roots out of Zyra, not to mention the Ultimate is useless. So he's going to head straight for Vayne every single time right here. And no, he's got to play it really defensive now because they have a lot of abilities to actually grab him. And Kayle wouldn't be a bad pickup because if you want to protect that Vayne, that's probably the champion you want to use for it, and that would be another support out of Dio that we haven't seen.
I'm trying to figure out the team composition. We're going to have the support Zyra in there, which would mean top lane Kayle? What is Freddy122 going to play? I mean, bearing in mind he does play mid lane as well sometimes. He could switch around, so he actually could play that Diana up top. I would expect Zyra to be the support here, but it could be a support Kayle as well. This is confusing for me. Let alone you.
I'm trying to look at it, and we could see Diana in the top lane. That was just a possibility. We could see Kayle in the mid lane, then the support Zyra. And we've seen Diana actually work quite well in the top lane.
Well, and we could have jungle, mid, or top lane Kayle, or support. I mean, they've got a lot of champions that are actually going to keep Giants guessing as well as us.
They're going to pull a Dragonborn, switch last second on us. And, and we'll be able to find out. But, you know, look at the compositions overall. We have a pretty...
They're waiting to switch. You can see the hot, but they're all sat with the mouses ready to transfer. So we're not going to get to see it. Actually, yes, we will, because we can see their hands ready and waiting to go with those transfers. Unfortunately, we're looking at Giants and not against Authority. So we won't see the switch, but it doesn't come in. So it's Freddy122 going to potentially be in that mid lane. So it's going to be the lane swaps coming around here, and it's going to be a top lane by the looks of it, Kayle.
I think it was actually going to be a mid lane Kayle. Because you're against Twisted Fate, and he's running teleport. So to me, that's saying he wants to be able to follow him around. And whenever he comes in, you pop that kill on whoever he's going to hit it with. You keep them alive, and you can turn that gank around completely. Top lane Diana, I mean, it works. It has always worked in the past. But I don't know how well Freddy actually plays Diana. I'm assuming if he's going to pick it and play a lane like that, then he's very competent with her.
One thing for sure, there's a hell of a lot of damage right there from Against All Authority.
Yeah, that is. You can't even kill one person now on Against Authority. So if you do even get someone low, you have the Kayle ultimate to save them. And then you have, you know, Diana, you have Kayle, you have Vayne, you even have Zyra just beating on you the entire time. If Extra or Jimbones go down, they're going to miss a lot of damage. And Nono will be able to 1v1 Olaf as a game.
Action-packed foray into the battle on the Rift. So we'll see who is going to come out on top. Will they go for any level 1 engagements? That's the big question.
Well, with all the damage Against Authority has, I mean, you kind of could go for it when you have that setup from Nazis, you have the setup from Diana, and mostly the Zyra with that Grasping Roots, but it looks like they're going to just play a little passive, because, like, to me right now, we're talking about the lane swap. You want to give Vayne an easy lane. If anything, early on, I think they want to just spot where the AD carry and support of Giants are going, just so you can kind of swap it in time before the game actually starts.
Swippity swap it?
Swip it, yeah.
I wasn't sure which way you were going with that one.
I don't even know where I was going with that one.
Is going to use that Demacia standard to keep scouting out those bushes. Looking like Giants want to go for a bit of an invade onto the red buff here. We did see it backfiring against Evil Geniuses, but this time, could they be successful? Of course, they did manage to batter them back at that blue buff, which potentially was a bit of a mistake by EG, but it doesn't look like Against All Authorities want to take the bait, and they are going to stick around in their own mid lane.
Yeah, they're all grouped up because they don't know exactly where they want to go just yet. They have words to spot who's going where. They might have been able to catch a dude and been able to kind of response that in the end, but they're going to stay grouped up. We're going to have, it looks like the AD carry and support of Giants could be going into the top lane, but they'll be going top into another 2v2 situation. And we have Freddy122 and Shlaya both picking up a crystalline flask, so you're going to assume they're not going to necessarily win their lane, but they just want to be able to sustain long enough where they can become impactful.
So what do you think? We got a quick pause here, so they're obviously and
Froggen did a great job pushing him away. So if he can kind of do that right now with the harass, then he'll be able to obviously delay his level 6. He'll be able to take or capitalize on that and he'll be able to push the lane a lot harder.
So it doesn't look like blue buff's going to be given across. Slayer, of course, returning, and he is going to be sitting in the mid lane against Extermin. So that will be Twisted Fate versus Kel. Down the bottom lane, you can see it's going to be Olaf versus Diana. Diana being run as the solo mid laner. So double AP returning with a vengeance.
And the thing here is in that, we see already in the top lane, that's the damage of early level 2. If you can hit that before the other team, you can push them out. We saw that happen with Hosan and Dragonborns both games. They played today and yesterday. And Giants doing that exact same thing. And we talked about they have the stronger team, or they have the stronger combo early on, and they're going to use that to their advantage.
Samak screens, we are back into the action. And it is going to be all about, no, it's not going to be about anything because you see the boss come back in. Ward, so they know that he's there. And now we see Virtual. He's going to come around, but he's coming straight across. There's a flash use. Teleport coming in as well. They're going to get the slice straight across. Virtual seems to be the target. He's going to back away. And Slayer now trying to put the damage down, but it's getting reversed. Jim Bones laying the smack down on towards Slayer's backside. And he's going to keep him back. Doesn't decide to dive in. And Morden, well, reacted very well. A 3-on-4 situation. Twisted Fate finally joined it. Exterminate is up there in the tri-bush as well. It's going to be a 4-man push from Giants here on the top turret.
I was going to say, that was not a smart play of Against Authority to go in there and try to go for an engage because it forced the teleport out of Schleia, and if Extra stayed in that middle lane, it was pushing it, he would get such a level advantage over Schleia, not to mention the teleport being down that he'd be able to interact with all these different lanes, but like you're saying, that 4-man push to be able to get a very early turret here, and Schleia, he's going to have to come back top. Giants could keep pushing if they really want to.
Well, if they're going to keep on pushing the turret, why don't he put the Demacia standard down and help everyone out? We're just going to take it anyway. No help, no love from Morden on this Demacia standard there, but they do take the first turret, nevertheless, of the game. 4.5 minutes into this, so it's kind of the traditional, I guess you could say. It's kind of becoming a standard thing. It was in North America, but it hasn't really attracted as much attention here in Europe with those lane swaps. But it wasn't a lane swap, it was just a pile on the top.
And it wasn't even intentional in the end out of either team right there. But the real trick is Giants had to do something to stop Nona from farming that lane. We do see some nice damage on Samus. Did he get it?
He's used the Ghost. He was trying to pile in towards Freddy, but the shield is on there. He did use the Ignite and Ghost there. So full-on dive attempts from Samus, but didn't have the damage.
So I was trying to point out that, against Authority, they lost their top turret, but now they have a free lane for Nono to farm in. Giants has to stop that. They have to keep pushing the top lane or start grouping and forcing objectives in other places to really not allow Nono to freeze lane, which you see he's currently doing at this point. So if they keep letting Nono just farm up, that turret take early on will be a disadvantage to them instead of an advantage.
Well, Dude, he's trying to stay away. So what I'm seeing from Dude there, actually going to get the root down and double plants on towards Babetta, keeping them away from that red buff. They are going to get in and get the ward down. Red buff will be spawning in around 1.5 minutes time. Looking like Dude was trying to stay away from Nono, so he's trying to feed as much experience as he can for the Nono right now.
And the thing is, it's a smart play. It really is, but he's going to need that level 6. He's going to need those amazing Zyra ultimates to stop Morden from being able to get in there and get that hard engage onto Nono. But, he's leaving him alone in the lane right now. He's going to be leaving, and he's allowing Nono to pretty much freeze that lane as long as he keeps going to the mid lane to kind of counter that push that's going to be happening. Obviously, with those plans, with the grasping roots and that Q, he's going to be able to clear the waves out, or it's going to help be able to clear the waves out relatively quickly. And they're shutting down Giants from trying to switch the pressure somewhere else. As you see, everyone on the team heading towards Dragon right now, and they're doing a phenomenal job. They're forcing Against Authority to react to them.
Very aggressive play from the Giants here, getting straight in on towards that Dragon. Hail of Arrows going down as well as the wild card, so they really want this one. Just 6.5 minutes gone into this game. They've already got a turret, and now they're going to take down a Dragon. That's going to give them a 2,000 gold difference advantage, now building up over Against Authority.
And you see Freddy 1-2 left alone in this bottom lane. They knew Dragon was going on, and no one Against Authority came down to even help him here. This could be a 4-man dive and another turret going for Giants.
They're keeping the pressure going, and you can see the minion wave is there, so they should be able to get this one. It's a 4-man push. Middle-wise, Extermin has returned back there to keep Schleyer busy, and it is going to go down. There's nothing at all they can do to this one. You see Virtual trying to come and help out Freddy 1-2. There's nothing they can do. It's another turret for Giants.
And that was a great job of them to really keep that pressure on. You see in the top lane, Nono still freezing that lane, and that might come back to haunt him in the end. If Giants keep this up, they can easily get that middle turret now with just a 5-man push straight up against Authority. And Extra, he is level 6 right now. He obviously had no chance to interact with any other lane here, but the ultimate will become more deadly. Since they have these outer turrets down, they can control the enemy jungle against the Authority.
Well, there's a big difference also built up in the CS. There's a 20 CS difference between Freddy122 and Samux. Samux looking very strong here on Olaf in the early stages of the game. Meanwhile, the mid lane, Slayer and Extermin, well, it's very even between those two, despite the fact the roaming that Extermin's been doing. Slayer's kind of trying to keep up there, but of course it's all been about the fact that they reacted. It's just snowballing from that very early play where everybody piled up the top lane.
And this is where you're going to see what makes a good team a great team. If they can react to this properly, they're still freezing lane. I keep saying that because it really is so important for this game. If Against the Authority keeps doing that, Nono will either get really far ahead of Jim Bones or they'll fall really far behind because they'll lose objectives. And we're going to see how that does pan out eventually as we do finally have Jim Bones going to be returning towards that top side. So the lane finally has pushed back out a little bit.
Well, we haven't seen Jim Bones going back and buy yet. No, going back and buy yet. It's up to 54 CS. Oh, they're going in towards him. They get the stun card down. He managed to get the tumble just at the right time. Can he finish it off, though? One more hit will do. No! Barrier comes through. Mana card. He's going to get away. The wild card's not going to land. Extermin takes a lot of tower damage now, a lot of minion damage. Can they chase it down? Slayer's chosen in there. Hasn't quite got teleport available. It doesn't matter. He should be able to get the slowdown. The flash comes out from Extermin, but better, and a hail of arrows from Jim Bones managed to slow Slayer's descent.
And in the meantime, we do see Blue being taken away from Mortar right now. They have two people on that bottom side of the map. We see Virtual in the middle lane. If Mortar wants to, they could go for some pressure on this tier 2 turret. A great disengage.
Giants right now. 7th place Giants versus 6th place Against All Authorities. The damage going on towards, but better. Can they get him down though, Nolan?
As we move towards the top side, we might see a 3-man push, but Jim Bones, he has his ultimate available right now. He could really delay this if he needs to, and Exeter's ultimate won't be up for another 40 seconds at this point, but he already is moving over towards his top side.
Well, it's a 3-man push, but it's without the AD carry, because Nono's in that mid lane, so they're not really going to get a massive amount of damage down on towards that turret. Instead, they are forced back just by that 2-man advantage, and while it's all happening, you can see Extermin, he's keeping busy in that mid lane, but Freddy122, he's managed to regain as much as he can, but still, there is that difference. Samux, and with a big advantage building towards this Freddy122 on Diana.
Yeah, at this point, it's a tricky point. They might be strong enough right now to finally go over some turret diving. I mean, they did take Dragon. They're going to have that coming up around 12 minutes in, but you have a Hex Drinker now picked up on Samux. He's going to be really that magic resist to really go against that double AP composition. We should see Morden built into a Runic Bulwark, which will just hard counter against Soul Authority with that amount of magic resist built up. And with Vayne still kind of just not really ahead at this point, won't be doing that much damage until he is able to at least complete that Blade of the Rune King, but he might be going for a Bloodthirster as his first item.
Well, we'll see if he does manage to go for that. A BF Sword, of course, the beginning workings. Could be anything, honestly. We don't know what these guys can go to. They have a number of options these days, which is the great part of the balance of League of Legends currently. Gives them many, many opportunities to go different ways, which actually is very different because normally with a Vayne, you'd see Phantom Dancer first item.
Well, it's Phantom Dancer, or nowadays it's Blade of the Rune King, since you got that attack speed on that item. You have the active to give you the extra speed, the heal as well. But I say Bloodthirster because he's going to need the sustain in these fights, because you have Olaf diving you, you have potentially Jarvan diving you, even Extra if he gets into that backside. So he needs to stay alive. If he does that, he will be able to destroy the other team.
Well, Extermin, meanwhile, continues the farming process in this mid lane, and he's starting to build up a small gap over Slayer. Now 10 CS difference between the
Authority out of their own base, out of their comfort zone, and really start to take some wins here. But I mean, taking Dragon is almost just as good. We hear a Ghost Pop.
What the?
Not sure if that was a mistake or not.
I think that was definitely a mistake by Virtual. Not too sure why he even put that Ghost down, and now he's just realized his mistake, and that may well cost them the game, you know. I mean, obviously, whether they're to turn this fight around, but that was absolutely meant that, you know, Against All Authorities, they can't fight for this.
Yeah, well, I mean, I don't even think they could fight for it anyways, because Giants are so much stronger. We see TSFA actually going into the top lane, but
it's going to be enough, and it's going to be First Blood finally coming out here. 13 minutes in. No, meanwhile, is pushing that top lane. The teleport cancelled out there. He didn't want to go for his Slayer. Instead, he's going to try and push that middle turret, so they may even get a middle and top turret down here. No should take that turret down at the top there. It is going to be the inner bottom turret. The Giants do take down 3-0, but that could well be 3-2 if they get in there. Jimbo's reacts in the mid lane, saves it out. Top will go down.
And you really have to say, Jimbo's done a phenomenal job of keeping up in terms of CS with Nono, because he's been roaming around. He's applying a lot of pressure everywhere, but he's only about 10 CS behind at this point, which is, exceptional considering the circumstances.
Well, as it stands, so let's have a look. 1-0. I can't believe there's only been one kill so
yeah,
far.
I was just going to say that. I was like, first blood, what? What happened?
Yeah. It's been a pretty crazy, hectic start with a lot of towers going down, and, towers eventually do win games with that Nexus being the defined target, but whether they're going to go for blue here, Jim Bones is going to come across. I think he wants to try and steal it. There's a seed planted there, though, so they know that he's coming by. Can he get the snipe off? Ah, not quite. That was very close, though, and it's Slayer that gets the blue.
We saw that happen yesterday with Hosan on Dragon, but unfortunately it didn't work out from there. And we do see item builds kind of coming to fruition right now for Against Authority. I think Crepo might be a little sad because Nasher's going to be quite toothless yet again, as we see Freddy 122 and Slayer both going for that item. They want that attack speed. They want to be able to shred down the enemy team. And it's the perfect items to pick up for that team because, Dyna's passive does so much damage, kills AoE, not to mention the Reckoning off, or the passive off of her is just going to shred through her targets.
Nono's going to come in. He has got that Bloodthirster now, so that damage on towards that turret isn't going to be enough. The plants go down to try and keep him at bay. The stun card from Extermin, though, gets good damage on towards Nono, forces half of his health down. And that's going to give a lot of poke, but look at Samux. He's almost in the base right now. He's on the inhibitor turret.
And Exter has his ultimate up. Like, they're trying to stall him as long as possible. Freddy 122's trying to back. He does get interrupted, though. And we're going to see Olaf keep pushing that top side, or maybe even come around the back as you do see him put down a ward just to make sure he's safe. And he's fine to keep pushing, and in the end, Against Authority, if they're not going to lose their bottom turret, they're going to lose that middle turret.
They're going to lose one, that's for sure. Freddy 122 having to react, but we can see the middle turret going down here. Giants get their fourth turret of the game and continue pushing straight up that mid lane. Samux continuing to keep his presence and the felt in that top lane, bottom lane, on towards that inhibitor turret. And Against All Authorities, you would not think their performance against Giants was so spectacular right now, because they are really up against it here. 6,000 gold already down against Giants, just 15.5 minutes in this game. That is a huge lead.
Yeah, that really is, because you see the item difference just building up right now. You have Exter, he has a Sheen, he's going for that Lich Bait, and they want to go for the quick pushing. They want to end this game early. They don't want to let it Against Authority get to that late game dominance that they really do have with their composition, and they're doing a phenomenal job of it. I mean, we've seen Samix just pushing that bottom lane the entire time, still hasn't left yet. He has 129 CS, he's sitting on about 800 gold right now, but he has a giant spot, he has a red pot, so if anyone does try to gank him, you're going to have to send more than one person to do that.
Yeah, that's the problem. The fact that Freddy 122 fell behind, there's just nothing he can do. It's the standard split push lane. Once you get that big disadvantage, you can't really do a great deal against it. And the problem is, for Against All Authorities, it's pulling another member towards them, and then it's giving the rest of Giants that massive advantage, and they are just piling down those turrets right now. So let's see where they're going to try and create something. Samux in that bottom lane. Will we see Extermin? He's heading this way. They want to go for Nono. Here comes the ultimate. They're going to get the Destiny on towards him. The stun card is there. Can they finish him off? Yes, they will this time. And Samux picks up the kill on Nono.
Great job right then. Twisted Fate, Extra, amazing play out of him. He popped the ultimate a little bit early, just so if Vayne did ult up, try to stealth away, Samux would be able to spot him, get that slow, land that gold card. And that was a great pickup on Nono. The first time it didn't work out, but this time it did. And they're going to continue to push this bottom lane. Freddy 122, who's in the top lane, has to back out, has to really defend here. And that allows Jimbo to get a nice extra chunk of farm. And we've talked about them grouping up and pushing. He's pretty much bang even with Nono right now in CS.
Well, and all this pressure in this bottom lane is going to create an opportunity in the middle lane, so they're going to either lose an inhibitor turret or the inner turret, and it's going to be one or the other for Against All Authorities. The choice is indeed theirs. They don't have Jim Bones with them, though, on this push. He's just farming out that top lane, so the pressure's going to continue on there. Morden getting caught out there. The root comes in, but he was already sliding away.
And Damon, I don't know, you could probably agree with me on this. This is the Giants we saw in the beginning of the season. The controlled chaos that they like to provide in these games really gives them a nice bit of an advantage. We do see Giants potentially getting caught there, but they do back away. And the thing against Authority has, like, the problem they're having is they don't have a solid engage right now. They don't have anyone who can get into the enemy team, especially with Virtual's Ghost being down.
Well, that is going to be finally against All Authority taking that middle turret down. Jimbones has shoved on that top wave, so there's a creep wave pushing on towards the top lane turret. We do see Extermin still down here. He's going to back away. That Sheen glistening. And what is he going to buy? Is he going to get towards that Lich Bane? Has he got enough? I don't think he has quite yet. We'll see which way he goes with that build. I'm expecting the Lich Bane to come out before the Zhonya's Hourglass. He hasn't even backed away. He's like, I see an opportunity forming here.
Yeah, he might be able to get this kill over Turk. He's going to wait in that bush.
He does manage to get the stun card and the wild card, but he hasn't really got the damage to take down Slayer, of course. Could have tried to force intervention instead. He's going to wipe out that creep wave. And against All Authorities, they are so left wanting right now. They don't seem to have any answer to the aggression the Giants are showing.
Yeah, they don't at all, and it's only going to get worse for them because you see Babette, he picked up an Oracle. He's going to clear out all the vision that Against Authority has in the jungle, which you see at this moment is pretty good. Like, they're trying to keep their own jungle alive, trying to keep that farm going, that income of gold, but Dragon will be up in another 6 seconds. You see Giants just waiting for it. And we still have Samix. He hasn't even really been there for Dragon. He's just been pushed this entire time.
Oh, Crescendo, not quite landing, but it doesn't matter. The wildcard came in there because the hail of arrows, and that is a very dead dude. And he didn't quite manage to escape this time around. He just walked straight in. Wasn't really, he just wanted to get the ward down towards the Dragon, but unfortunately there was already a ward ready and waiting for him at blue buff.
And against Authority, they're trying to react to this. They're trying to go for a push on this middle lane as they kind of are circling around towards Dragon, but it's too late. That first turret is down. They're not going to be able to push that second turret down anytime soon. And now with that Dragon being taken, they got the gold from that, but now the lanes are pushed in against them, at least in the top and middle side, and they're going to be getting a lot more gold on top of that.
Well, they're trying to show some aggression here. They want to try and get in and steal the red buff, which may work out for them, but look at Morden. It's your traditional jungler. He doesn't want to give up. He's going to walk in. Will he get the smite? No. We tried to get the
Jimbone's got
balance in there. Jimbone's got it instead with a hail of arrows, I think he stole it with, yeah.
Also, he didn't
wanting to is actually gain himself back in there because Samix has been shoving it. He's been able to have some free time with himself down that bottom lane. You can see the gold advantage though. Just look at it across the board. All those turrets. Turret advantage, which equates to where are they going to show up next? Looking like top, as it's going to be Extermin split pushing bottom.
And the thing is, their aggression's kind of fallen back. They've been a little bit more passive now that they went back and bought after that last Dragon, but they need to keep that aggression on because against Authority, they're sticking this game. In CS, they're not really that far behind anywhere. They're down 20 in top with Diana and with Vayne, but that's really not that much in the end of it. But Giants with that Oracle, they're trying to deny a lot of vision. There are a lot of pink wards committed. We see Twistfate ulting into that top side.
He's going in towards the top lane. It is more a case of just trying to get the damage down, and that's exactly what he's going to do. And it does look like it's going to be the tower going down. Yes, it will. There's nothing going to stop that one. Are they going to try and turn for it? Oh, this time Virtual has gone aggressive, but look at that straight away. Catch him down. Virtual absolutely singled out and decimated. Cataclysm on his head. Freddy122, well, doesn't matter. Ultimate used, but the damage wasn't on him. Instead, it's going to be No-No going down. There is a limit to his abilities, and it does look like Morden's going to get caught on towards Freddy122. Slide comes in, decimated, but better picking up the kill this time. And now there's not a great deal that can stop him getting towards his inhibitor turret.
That's only one that stands between them is Schleia and Diod. If Schleia comes in, he could potentially pick up a kill here, but Giants just going to go headfirst in this turret. They should be able to get that. They're going to be backing with quite a bit of gold as well, and Baron now is a very real possibility for Giants.
It's a real possibility, but it's the inhibitor they're going to take first, and there's 3 members of Against All Authority going to come out, but there is no authority that will stop Giants taking down. The route on towards Extermin. He might get dropped here. Yeah, he's going to be taken down. Finally, they do pick up the kill. It's the first kill of the game for Against All Authority, but honestly, it's more of an exit frag that we'd call in another game.
And still, I mean, it's a 10,000 gold difference, 6-1, 6 turrets to 2 at this point. 23 minutes in, this is a huge gold lead, and you're seeing it reflected in items. You're seeing it reflected in Giants and just how aggressive they're playing in terms of team fighting right there. And I gotta give credit to Babette. That was a great flash crescendo right there onto Against All Authority. Wasn't really expecting it, even though Freddy, I mean, he was trailing Freddy the entire time, so Freddy knew he was there, but still, great turnaround by Giants, getting the kills and taking that gold home to buy.
So, where do we stand? Giants have a big advantage now. Inhibitor down 6-2 in turrets, and that gold lead, look at it, 11,000 gold at 23.5 minutes into the game. That is enormous right now. It is well over 30%, I feel, and it looking like potentially the Baron. You called it earlier on, it's where they could go, and there's honestly, I don't think against the authorities, even if they went in a straight 5v5 right now, they would have no chance, even with Baron hitting on the Giants.
And the thing is, Giants don't really have to go for it. They can just, start. They can bait against Authority into it, allow Twisted Fate to just start split pushing a little bit. You have the top inhibitor down, so someone has to respond to that. Send him bot lane, he can keep pushing up, just get a nice disengage with Giants, and then you'll be completely fine. You have the Crescendo to get away, you have the speed buff out of Sona to get away, not to mention that Varus ultimate.
So, Extermin going in towards that top lane. And again, all lanes being shoved. There's absolutely no reason why they would go for Baron right now, because they have the pressure across the map anyway. They don't need to force it. It looks like they may well try and force something in his middle turret, though. We do see Samux heading towards there. The ping's coming down. Extermin, of course, he's going to keep them super minions shoving in the top lane. And the rest of Giants, they're starting to group in towards this middle turret.
It almost seems like Extra wants to be a little bit like Expect and Frog and saying, hey guys, I can do it too. But you see in the bottom lane, Samux still being aggressive. He doesn't want to leave that bottom lane alone at all. He's been pushing this entire game, getting that turret very low now. But still, you see Jibbones take out that middle tier 2 turret, and the rest of Giants looks like they might even head back towards Baron. I kind of want to say they are, but they did take a nice ward down in that Wraith bush, and they might be baiting in against Authority, and Dude might fall for it.
Oh no, you've got to move, Dude, and he does try and get out of there. He did just about get away. What are you doing, Freddy122? You can't just go blind checking a bush like that with his 4 members sat there. Virtual this time, he's going to get caught out. They knew they were there. They already just saw him sliding towards it. Absolute crazy play. Freddy122 losing his mind a little bit there, and it does look like they're going to go in towards this bottom turret. Of course, it's already down half health, this bottom inhibitor turret, so I would expect them to push in towards it. Giants, of course, they can go from both angles. Samux, he's quite happily soloing that bottom lane, and it's going to be the middle turret going down, so another inhibitor gone. And Giants, they are setting up a great performance here. They are battling, they are fighting to get 6th place back, and this is an absolute talisman they are laying down coming into Super Week to really keep the pressure on towards Giants. This is definitely a race we're going to have to keep our eyes on, because remember, 7th and 8th place goes straight to relegation fights. 6th to 3rd, you could possibly get through, and right now that's SK Gaming versus one of these teams if positions would stay the same. So it is so vital, of course, that last battle, that last tournament. We're effectively going to have 3 Super Weeks running. It's going to be exhausting for the players, the teams, the casters, but it's going to be magnificent.
Magnificent completely, because this is where every team's been fighting for. These bottom 4 teams, or actually, sorry, even bottom 7, I have to say in the end, because they could potentially all lose their spots. They've been fighting this, or sorry, bottom 6, they've been fighting for this for, how long has it been now? 10 weeks or 9 weeks at this point to hold onto their spot in LCS. This is their lifestyle. This is what they do for a living. And why would you want to get rid of that when you get paid to play professionally in League of Legends? You do see, saying Baron started right now. All 3 inhibitors are down 26 minutes, and there's nothing against Authority can do to stop this. And Giants, it looks like they're trying to go for the close.
Yeah, it's one of those things you don't feel until it's gone, I guess.
Exactly,
the fact that you're paid to play this, there's so many million players of League of Legends that will be sat watching this and thinking, I wish that was my job. I wish that was my job. Don't worry, guys. Everybody thinks the same. These players have a pretty awesome lifestyle overall. But as it stands, double super minions coming straight in. The top, the bottom, and the middle. All angles for Against All Authority. They're definitely up against it here. And the Giants, they have been massive in this game.
And you see, I mean, he's been trying to level up something to really help his team. He has his W leveled up, he has that Silver Bolts done, but he doesn't have any attack speed behind that. So he's not going to be doing too much damage against Authority. They're going to have to fight for here, because if they don't, they're going to lose their Nexus turrets and the game. And then we will see one final big glorious engage happening here, Demon.
Yeah, they're definitely building up towards it. Virtual's been caught out. One more shot, but the intervention comes in, and here comes Morton sliding into victory, and there's going to cataclysm and bounce on their heads, just hanging off the fountain, and Samux is pulling the damage down. Look at the side there. There's another execution coming out from the Giants, but it's going to be the Nexus that goes down. No does finish with a kill, but it's all about the Giants in their battle to try and claim 6th place off Against All Authority, who looked magnificent. It was yesterday against Gambit, but it wasn't to be today. Giants from the very start, 2 minutes in, were taking turrets.
Let me ask you this, Steven. Did you expect this game to be that action-packed and end in 27 or 28 minutes?
I wasn't expecting it to be so quick and aggressive from the Giants. I think they caught Against All Authority and everybody else watching completely napping in that game.
Yeah, they really did. And you see them shaking hands. Great job by both teams. And Giants, I mean, where was the Giants the past 6 weeks? Like, where have they been?
Where is this team? And I mentioned it. They've done it against Evil Geniuses. They've done it against Gambit. Finally, it seems to